Man, when I watch this guy, are you ready for this hot take right here?
Let's do it.
When I watch this guy, he reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. What's up, guys? Welcome to Play Action Takes, an Apollo Media NFL podcast. It's your boy Kush. I'm with my boy Enrique. What's up, Enrique? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? Doing good. Good.
You ready to talk a little bit?
Start.
Ready to talk about some football, man?
Let's do it, man.
Draft's coming up. It's a week away. We're almost there. It's the first step to football being back officially. Man, I'm excited.
I'm
dude.
excited, man. It's been a long off season. A lot of trades happening, big moves. I'm just ready for it to start again.
Yeah, man. So let's start off with the number one pick, the Titans. Tennessee Titans got the number one pick. There's two quarterbacks in this draft that everybody's talking about. Cam Ward from Miami, and of course, Deion's offspring, Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. And man, I think that when you talk about these two quarterbacks, like they are different quarterbacks, right? They have different skill sets, and there's been a lot of talk the whole offseason about, what team's going to take Shedeur Sanders. Is he going to go top 5? Is he going to fall? And in my opinion, when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, I just think that there has been talk with the Giants doing like one last private workout with him, like I think a couple of days ago. So like, to me, I have no fucking idea what's gonna happen with Shedeur Sanders. Like, I could see him going, to the Giants, but if he falls past 3, the next team that I think that might, take the gamble and take him will probably be New Orleans. And if he doesn't go to New Orleans, like, he might drop all the way down to 21 to the Steelers.
Yeah, like I feel you on that, and like in my honest opinion, all of this was a shit show from the very beginning. Whenever it came out that he was going to be wearing like the white and like blue cleats that one time, and it it showed a hey, like, don't draft me, I'm going to the Giants, and that's whenever I knew all of that was going to go downhill from there. I mean, like, how are you already going to say that you're going to go to the Giants, stuff like that, be high up in the draft board, but like, you haven't done the combine yet. Like, they had the private, like the Colorado workout, stuff like that, and people did not like what they saw. Even the Twitter critics were like, oh, like, he's going to fall. And, like, even some NFL people were like, hey, like, his form's not good, this and that, yada, yada, yada. And in my opinion, he is going to fall. And he's not going to be number one. It's going to be Cam Ward, more than likely, even though it's going to be the Titans, like, I don't know how many times they had like the first pick or something like that, or that high up on the board that they're going to take another QB. But, I mean, he's going to drop for sure. Cam goes first. And, I mean, I just don't know what happens from there. Like you said, he might go, you said what was the team that you said?
The Saints at number 9.
The Saints at number 9. But, I mean, with the Saints, they already have a QB that they haven't even played yet. So I could see them picking up from the Steelers. But, I mean, if that does not happen, he's not dropping from the first round. He's not. But for sure, he will, like, be somewhere where he's not expected at. That's my take on that.
Yeah. When it comes to Sanders, man, I think that, like, we talked about the Saints earlier, and last week, the whole Derek Carr thing where he was dealing with the injury, and, some people think he was faking it and all this drama going around New Orleans right now. And so I think that might be a team to watch come next Thursday during the first round of the draft. But like I said, if he makes it past New Orleans, like every team from like 10 to the early 20s, a lot of them already have the quarterback position figured out.
Yeah.
Or they have like a plan in place. Like, for example, one of the teams, the Falcons, right? Mm-hmm. They shocked everybody last year, right. And they got, Penix Jr.
Yeah.
And so now he's probably positioned to be their starter this upcoming season.
Right, yeah.
So, like, I know I'm over here, like, confident saying, like, hey, you know what? the Saints or someone is going to get Shedeur Sanders, but I mean, damn, like when it comes to the draft, man, we don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's like back then I used to do another podcast with shout out to this man if he ever watches this part right here. Jeff Michael, he does a show on Facebook called Sports with Balls. I actually have a $2 bill that we signed. Like he signed it for me, and he did ESPN radio, like Houston and stuff like that. We did it at this one bar in Midtown, and we had a little draft party for him. It was after the first pick. He said that everything goes downhill. Like it's rare whenever you get the first pick right, and everything else is just like a shit show because like you don't know what's gonna happen. Now if the Cam Ward does not go first, it's gonna be the best draft because you don't like everyone's gonna be flip flopping everywhere. I just watched draft day 2, so I'm all amped up for it to come out. So oh man, I just can't wait for this draft. I think this is gonna be one of the most anticipated drafts because one of the class, like the wide receiver class, the quarterback class, and 2, just the names that are involved. Like everything's gonna be like all eyes on this. Like this is it right here.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I think whenever like guys started declaring for the draft and the draft class was like evening itself out, I think a lot of people were like, this is not a very exciting draft because I think the casual NFL fan, not the everyday watchers like us, they love the quarterback positions. They love quarterback heavy drafts. A lot of talent in the first round. But in my opinion, I think the drafts like these are more fun to watch because you don't know who's going to trade up. You don't know what's going to happen. And so I'm going to ask you to make your pick. Who do you think drafts Shedeur Sanders? And then I'll tell you my pick.
Shedeur Sanders. I mean, let's look up the Bleacher Report thing because I was looking at it before we started and like just to see where everything's at right now. I just don't, dude. I don't know. Like I really don't know. Like even though I saw this one post on Twitter. It said if Sanders doesn't play both ways, he's not playing. And I think that it's like a lot of diva energy right there. Like he really wants to go both ways. And I just don't see that happening with any team right now because I'm like I think it's too much of a risk to have that happen. I mean, like, yeah, collegiate level, like okay, like that's fine because like it's college, like even though there's still ratings involved, like plus I don't know, man. It's just I don't know what team is gonna be able to like accept that risk if they do allow him to like go both ways.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Travis Hunter, but we're gonna get into that after this quarterback conversation.
As you can see, you mentioned that we watch ball a lot, but I'm somewhat of a casual, but this is why we have the show right here. I'm working on it.
Hey, you know what? It's easy to get confused between the 2 Colorado Stars. I'll say that.
There you go. Yeah.
But I think it's one of 2 teams that I think Shedeur Sanders is going to go to. I think if he gets to 9. If the Giants don't draft him, I think he's going to get to 9. I think the Saints will get him. If he makes it past the Saints, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's going to shake out to where he's going to drop all the way down to the Steelers, or like when he's dropping down that board, he's not getting drafted. The Steelers might say, you know what, we want to move up for him and just grab their guy.
Be all right.
Yeah.
So I just can't wait for that, man. I think he's gonna be the main one that everyone's focused on. Yeah, Cam Ward, like he's gonna go through. Like we kind of figure that the Titans are looking for a QB, so they're gonna go get their guy. But if they end up getting him, that shakes up the whole entire playing field. Because now, like everything's gonna be flip flopping. So
yeah. So let's talk about the other guy, Cam Ward from the University of Miami. Man, when I watch this guy. Are you ready for this hot take right here?
Let's do it.
When I watch this guy, he reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. The way that he can make those crazy angle throws, he's a really good thrower of the football. Like last year at Miami, his defense gave up a lot of leads.
Oh my God.
So he pretty much had to put up like 300 yards per game. He was in the Heisman conversation for a while into the season, but their defense started blowing games.
Yeah.
Like they started losing games, but I think the Titans, as you guys know, like we're Texans fans over here.
Oh yeah.
We hate the Titans. I mean, we would love it if the Titans blew this pick, but if I'm like taking my bias cap off, I think the Titans should take Cam Ward, and if they do that, in the AFC South, you now have a division with Cam Ward at quarterback, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we hate the Titans. Like their fan base is so like I don't know, especially with the whole Jersey situation where the orders belong to Houston and stuff like that.
We could do a whole nother podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's
on that subject.
It's like whenever you're watching like an anime, it's like the middle episode, the filler.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
us leading up to that. But anyways, going back to topic, it's like the Texans. We already have the division covered. Like that's gonna be ours for like a good minute. Like as we go on, but we need some action. So Titans getting Cam Ward will be a perfect fit for them. Like you said, we have AR-15 for the Colts, and you got Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars. But that's a whole different other team that we don't like either. I don't like personally, but I mean that's a whole lot of like QB action there that young talented people that like is gonna bring up some good film to watch.
Yeah, another thing on the Colts with AR-15, like he did not have the sophomore year that we all expected him to have last year.
Wouldn't that be his freshman year? Because I mean he was injured for the first year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was. He played like a couple games in 23, and then he got hurt.
That's right. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
he did get injured.
And so, like, another team to look at with Shedeur is the Colts. What if they are like, you know what, we're out on AR-15? We're going to grab Shedeur Sanders.
So my goodness, that's why I love the draft, because like there's so many implications that come that start getting into play. Where like, okay, like let's do a sneak draft and like let's get this guy instead, and then like it blows up. Like one team's plan just blows up right in their face and pause. But it's just like
we got the first pause of the podcast.
First pause. Get a pause counter going here. But yeah, man, oh my God, this whole Shedeur Sanders situation. It's just I think we're just gonna have to wait and see where this takes us.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the storyline of the draft next Thursday.
Yeah.
But we talked about Travis Hunter earlier. Standout wide receiver, can play both wide receiver and corner. Let's get into the wide receivers of this draft in the first round, man. It's loaded with talent. We got Travis Hunter. We got I don't know how to spell his name. McMillan from Arizona.
Okay.
We've got Golden, University of Texas, go Longhorns.
Yeah, go
We got
Longhorns.
Luther Burden, Missouri. And then C.J. Stroud's best friend.
Oh, yeah.
We got Igbuka from Ohio State.
One of my favorite ones, especially on college football. Oh, my goodness, man. This is like my favorite receiver to throw to. Oh, my goodness. He's just a GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to ask you this question
Okay.
first, and then I'll answer my own question.
Let's do it.
Which of these guys do you think is... I'm not going to say is going to be a bust, but which of these guys do you think may fall deep into the first round, maybe into the second round?
Hot take, it's gonna be Hunter. That's I don't know if even that is a hot take, but I mean it's just the whole like finding out that if he doesn't play both ways, he's out. That's a whole list of like possibilities that could happen. I mean like because like I might sound like a broken record here, but like I don't want to take that risk. Like okay, like what if he gets injured? Okay, let's say the Cowboys. Let's say I'm the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. But like I take him and like he's my wide receiver, but he wants to play quarterback, right? Cornerback, excuse me. And like he goes down as a receiver, but now you're down to quarterback. So I was like, do I want to take that? And like then you waste a whole draft pick just because you wanted one of the top guys. So me personally, I think it's gonna be him. Like he drops from that after that statement that he made about that. But I could be wrong. Maybe the whole his name being out there, like, brings in more brand deals for them. I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm probably loaded. It's called Jerry's World for a reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think he's gonna fall.
Yeah, I completely disagree. I think Travis Hunter, like, I don't think he's gonna make it out of the top 5. And I think whoever does draft him is gonna be totally cool with playing him at wide receiver and corner. I think he's gonna go to New York.
Ooh.
The Giants.
Okay.
In the quarterback discussion, I talked about Shedeur falling. Now, if they don't draft Shedeur Sanders, I think they're gonna go Travis Hunter. They signed Russell Wilson, and then they got Jameis Winston too at quarterback. So, I think with those moves, I think the Giants are telling us, like, we're not thinking about drafting a quarterback this year. We're gonna roll with Russell Wilson and Jameis. And then thinking about quarterback next year. I think
that's a very, very funny combination of people to have in your QB room.
They're the complete opposite of each other.
I think Russ is more like, calm centered, like what's the locked in energy, and then you got Winston is like so like out of pocket, out of control type. But whenever he locks in.
You got Mr. Unlimited and you got Mr. Crab Legs in the same quarterback room.
That's what I was talking about. Oh man, I think it's gonna be funny. Like, but what if you bring in a rookie, and like going back to the Travis Hunter thing? It's like, no, I'm sorry, Sanders. You bring in a rookie to learn from that, like the way how we did with C.J. Stroud and Money Mills. And then you bring in Keenum, you have that room right there.
Yeah.
So what if they pull a Texans playbook here, and they do the same thing with that room right there?
Yeah. So see, the only thing I have a problem with that is I don't think Shedeur Sanders is gonna want to be a backup. I think he wants to be a starter.
Right. I don't know. Maybe,
and I don't think Daddy Dion's gonna do that either, man. Like he wants his kid to be a starter in the NFL. And so I think Travis Hunter is going to go to the Giants. And let's talk about your boy Egbuka, man. I've seen, the past month, I've seen so many different mock drafts where they have him going before the Texans pick.
Right.
Some of them have him going when the Texans pick, and some of them have him going after the Texans pick. So, it's like I don't know where he's gonna go either.
Right.
And like a lot of these teams that need a receiver, like the Chargers, they need a receiver. They might like just take a swing and pick Egbuka, And I know the whole city of Houston, C.J. Stroud especially, wants him to drop to us.
Yeah, I want that. I'm probably one of those people that wants Egbuka, man. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but I really want him just to have the OU connection, man. I want that connection so bad. But I mean, Golden is not a bad pick either.
Yeah, all these guys are fast, man.
Yeah,
all these guys are fast. Golden, the U of H guy. We'll see if he drops to Houston. And man, these receivers are so talented. And one guy that I want to bring up right now, who I think is going to drop out of the first round, Luther Burden from Missouri.
Tell me more about him.
Luther Burden from Missouri. So, last year, you know how they do like the next year's mock draft?
Right,
like,
yeah.
He was among the top guys. But now with like how deep this receiving class is for this draft, the more like film I've watched on him is I don't think he can be a guy that can be an all-around wide receiver for you. I think he's really talented. I'm not saying he's like a one-trick pony or anything.
Okay.
But he's super athletic. He's fast. He can make crazy catches. But if you're asking me, do I think he can affect the game for a team like a Nico Collins can, where he does it all? Like, he gets the ball on screens. He catches one-on-one balls. He uses his speed to get past people. I think he is like a two-trick pony, but he's like really good at those skill sets.
Okay.
But I don't think he's like an all-around great wide receiver yet.
Dang, okay. So Cush's takes were here? That's Cush's take? Okay.
Yep.
Well, me, I don't know that much about our boy over here, but I mean, I think I'm just gonna put the statement out. Like, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Like, what's another? Okay, so you have someone that's gonna fall. So who do you think is gonna rise up to the first round?
Jaden Higgins, Iowa State.
Okay, now tell me more about him.
When I watch this guy, he reminds me of Nico Collins. He's big.
Okay.
The way they use him in Ohio State, they kind of moved him around, in motion, inside, outside. So, contrary to what we just talked about with Luther Burden, I think Jaden Higgins is an all-around receiver. When I watch him, he reminds me of Nico Collins, man. And like, Nico Collins is a guy that went in the third round. And so I think the great thing about this draft is we have all these guys that we talked about at receiver that might go in the first or second, but there's also guys that are going to be available in the third or fourth, whoever needs a receiver, where they don't have to feel pressure to draft a wide receiver in the first round.
All right, man. You know what? I think adding on to that, man, just gonna have to wait and see who drop. Maybe they both drop, but maybe they both rise up. So we're just gonna have to wait, because this is gonna be big.
Yeah, and another thing about the wide receiver class is, like I said, you can get a guy in the third or fourth round. We have guys like Jalen Royals from Utah State. If you want to get like way deep into it, we got Jack Beck from TCU, a slot guy. So like, I think the great thing about this draft with the receivers is you have the fast guys, you've got the slot receivers, you've got the big guys.
Right.
And so like, if I'm a team like, let's say the San Diego Chargers, not San Diego, sorry.
A little throwback.
a little throwback. The Los Angeles Chargers, who, by the way, the Texans beat in the playoffs last year.
Just bring that back, baby.
I think one of their biggest needs is to get a receiver opposite of Ladd McConkey. And for them, I don't necessarily think they have to go first round. I think they can still find their guy in the second or third or fourth round.
All right, I like that. So now we're talking about all these different receivers for all these other teams. But now let's come back to the H real quick. Who do you want Houston to get? Like, in your own opinion, who do you want, like, for us to pick on we're 25th, right? Like, who do you want the Texans to put in the card for?
So my guy that I really have been wanting, and I think when I say this guy's name, I think most people agree with me. Tyler Booker from Alabama.
Okay.
They addressed the offensive line. It was a big issue last year, especially on the inside. We've watched Texans games last year.
Oh my god.
CJ Stroud got his ass beat all season long.
Jeez, man.
And I think he can really help you. And I think when you talk about like the type of player with the mentality that he has, that D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio want, I think he fits that. But I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. If they don't go offensive line and this guy drops, Kenneth Grant, Michigan defensive tackle. The dude's 6'3", 340.
Jeez.
And the way he moves is just insane and ridiculous. If he drops to them and you still have the offensive lineman out there and he's still there, man, I'm glad I'm not Nick Caserio because I would have a tough decision to make right there, man.
Yeah, I bet you he's just in his little office, just planning, sitting in like some random position, just like scheming on what to do, like the way how we pulled off the great trade with CJ and then getting Will Anderson. He's probably has something up in his sleeve to get everything that we need with like a fraction of a price or something like that.
Yeah, and the thing, one more thing about on the Texans with Nick Caserio is like he's not a guy that usually like addresses. He doesn't harp on like addressing needs always, right? And I think we saw that last year when he drafted Blake Fisher early. Because last year you could argue that, I mean, quotes, technically they didn't need an offensive lineman last year. But obviously, fast forward a year later, now
we need
now
it.
they did need an offensive lineman. But I mean, if you go to last year, they pick up Blake Fisher, and it's a good thing they did because he had to come in and help out on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And so I think when you look at this draft for the Texans, I'm not saying anything can happen, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be like, oh my God, we have to draft an offensive lineman. I think based on who's dropping and who's drafted, I think they'll make their decision on who they're going to get.
Yeah, man. I'm just like, and I'm glad that we're on the same page that you want an O lineman, because I think the whole city of Houston knows that we need an O lineman, but like, even though it'd be great to add another receiver to the room that, you know, we don't have Tank Dell, you know, like hopefully he gets a speedy recovery. And, you know, we lost Diggs to the Patriots. But I feel like we have a great receiver room. And now that we have some additions that we came in with the guy from the Jaguars, and their names are popping up right now. But, like, we have a pretty good enough receiver room to go far. I mean, we went far even after the wild card game. Like, we put up a show against the Chargers that said, hey, like, even though we're down a couple people, like we're still in it to win it.
Right.
And adding these people in that, one, they're young. Like, I really like the fact that we're going with a younger receiver room, even though like Nico, he's still like mid-20s or something like that.
Yeah, I believe 25 or 26.
Yeah, so it's like I know like at least we're not like what's his name? His name's not popping up. Wolf of Wall Street. What's his name? Oh my goodness, it's
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Like we're still like at a point where we're going young and we're not going old, you know. But like
that's a good pull right there. Great pull right there.
Yeah. But like we stick to young and we keep going. Even though like, you know, they get to a point, Diggs wanted out. He still wanted to be here, but I think him saying like, hey, like I want to touch free agency, that was his idea of saying like, hey, like I want a better offer. It was like a 1-year deal that we gave him, and then even though it was unfortunate that it was an ACL tear, but he just wanted out. Even though like he loved Houston, hated the traffic. He hated the traffic. I saw his Twitter rants and stuff like that about it, but we got better people coming in, younger people, and I'm just ready to see what this receiver room does, and hopefully we do draft an O-lineman because that's what we desperately need.
Yeah, we're going to leave the rest of the Texans talk to our boys over at OTG. Oh, yeah. But I want to harp on what you said about how the Texans build their team. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that the best way to build your NFL team is get a bunch of young players, young talented players, but also get some vets in there like they've been doing last year in free agency.
Right.
And, you know, there's a couple teams in the AFC South, in the Colts and the Jaguars, that they want to get to the Texans level. And I'm gonna talk about our rivals in Florida real quick, the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. They got the number 5 pick, I believe. And, you know, maybe like a month or two ago, a lot of people were mocking Travis Hunter to Jacksonville, right? But I'm going to go the other way. I think they're gonna go Mason Graham on the defensive line.
Okay.
New coaching staff in Jacksonville. They have Brian Thomas Jr. stud receiver already. They got him last year, and Liam Cohen coming from Tampa Bay. I think he's gonna build his team similar to how I think the Texans should build their team in the draft, is focus on the run game. Because you've got your stud receiver. We know how we feel about Trevor Lawrence. I think,
Yeah.
he's not there yet.
I don't think he ever will be, in my opinion. Like, I think the whole Clemson era of Trevor Lawrence that people want to see, I think it's gone. Like, we're not gonna see that ever again. It'd be good to see it because it brings great value to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it's not gonna come back.
Yeah, and you make a great point, because that's exactly why I think if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, I want to give him a run game, and I want to give him a great defense. And on their defensive line, if they get Mason Graham, they've got Mason Graham on the defensive line, Eric Armstead. They've got Travon Walker, who they picked number 1 overall a few years ago.
Yeah.
They've got Josh Allen. Like, that's a pretty fucking good defensive line, man. And like, when I look at that as a Texans fan, I'm like, damn, man. I know we've had Jacksonville's number in the past.
Yeah.
But that's a scary defensive line.
I mean, there were times that whenever we do play them, it's like, it's a tough game. It's not like a smooth sailing. Like, let's say we go and play some like bottom feeder team, but like, it's a close game every time that we would play them. Even with the Titans. Well, no, Titans we had their number for a good minute now, especially whenever they wear those uniforms that belong to us. But I mean, it's like maybe a field goal away, a touchdown away game. So like, they can put it up. It's just their offense just doesn't click. They can't put up the numbers that we do.
Yeah, and let's go to the other team in the AFC South, the Colts. Like we discussed earlier, AR-15, to me right now is a question mark, because last year, the whole situation where he checked himself out of the game, like, if I'm the front office in Indianapolis and I'm watching that unfold, I'm like, I don't know if this guy can be our future. Yeah. Because the thing with AR-15 to me is like, when he is throwing those darts, deep balls, he looks so good.
Yeah.
But when you watch him other times, he's really inaccurate, and he doesn't even look like an NFL quarterback to
me. Yeah, like, even whenever, like, it was the year that we drafted C.J. Stroud, I really wanted AR-15. I really liked the way how he played in college and stuff like that. But, we drafted C.J. I'm like, oh, like, it's all right. But it was, at the end of the day, look how it turned out. Like, it was a pretty great pick in our end. But, with we didn't get to fully see how AR-15 really played due to the injury. But him checking himself out really put everyone to question, like, is he really in it to win it? Because I'm like, you don't check yourself out, like, just for the hell of it. Like, if you do it, like, you got to do it because you're injured. Not because, like, hey, I give up. And I think if I were the Colts, I'd probably put him up on a trade block. Like, after that, like, if he does it one more time, I'm putting him up for trade. See what I can get out of him.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why, like, we talked about Shedeur Sanders dropping. Like, if I'm the Colts, and, like, if I have any shred of a doubt about Anthony Richardson, I'm taking Shedeur Sanders at quarterback to be the future franchise quarterback for me. And then, like, I guess you let him battle it out in camp, and whoever wins, that's how you start. And even with that situation, man, like, let's say they draft Shedeur Sanders, right?
Okay, let's do it.
And we're going into the season, and Indianapolis is like, okay, AR-15, you're my starter. And we all, like, anyone that's ever been an NFL fan in the history of time knows the most popular player on the team is the backup quarterback, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's gonna be a damn circus. If the Colts start to struggle with Anthony Richardson, everybody's gonna be calling for Shedeur Sanders to start.
Right.
We all know Deion Sanders is going to get on the national media.
Right.
He's going to start saying, y'all got to start Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something to watch for me. And with that, let's go to the other team, the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, like I said before, I think they should take Cam Ward. I think the Will Levis experiment, like, it was cool for a while. Like, he had a couple good games here and there.
We got some great memes out of it.
Yeah, we got some amazing memes out of him.
Every week there was another meme for him, and I think that's the only thing that I liked about the Titans. Like, oh, let's see what they got going on. New meme dropped. I'm like, oh, this is great content. Well, other than that, I just don't like the Titans.
And like the Will Levis thing, it's funny to me because the Titans, I think, were just hoping and praying that he would work out.
Yeah.
But I think now that they have the first pick, they have a perfect opportunity to get their franchise quarterback in Cam Ward. Like I said earlier, I think we should compare him to Patrick Mahomes. I think, not to say he's going to win 3 Super Bowls and be the best quarterback of all time, but I think that their skill sets are kind of similar. He's big, but the one thing about Cam Ward, you know, especially at Miami, that people were criticizing him about was he had a fumbling problem, you know?
No, yeah.
And obviously when you get into the NFL, can't have turnovers or else you're not gonna be good. Probably gonna be picking first overall again next year.
Yeah.
If you turn it over too much. But I think the Titans are in a perfect situation where, you know, if you look back with, you know, teams that have had the first pick, when you get down to like draft time, like for example, the Panthers with Bryce Young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, they shouldn't overthink it. They should draft one guy or the other guy. I don't think the Titans have that problem because there's no, unless they want to go non-quarterback and get Abdul Carter from Penn State.
Which would be a crazy choice. It would be a crazy choice that, like you said, Will Levis experience did not work. Like, you have your pick right in front of you. Now it's either you say yes or no. That's it.
Yeah, so I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on Tennessee to make the wrong or right decision. I think they should get Cam
I think
Ward.
they know already. I think Tennessee knows, their fans know. I think the whole NFL world knows that Tennessee is going Cam Ward.
Yeah, Cam Ward is going number 1. And, you know, like we said after that, after pick number 1, I mean, it's a damn crapshoot of who goes and who doesn't go. And so one last thing before we get out of here, I'm going to ask you to predict your top 5 picks.
Okay. Now you're gonna put me on a spot real quick because, like I said, I'm somewhat of a casual. Like, if you give me the other football, the one that's played overseas or down south, I'm your guy. I mean, look at me, I'm your guy. But I mean, like, let's see here, because okay, how about this? You give me your first 5, and I'll give you what Bleacher Report has, and then we'll
match it up. All right,
we'll match it up. Let me pull it up right here on my end. Go ahead and tell the fans what you got your first 5 at.
With the first pick in the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans will select Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami.
Okay, yeah. Bleacher Report has that also.
All right, so number 2, the Cleveland Browns will select Travis Hunter, Colorado.
Bleacher Report has that too. They got him going at 2, which, in my opinion, it is a good fit. Didn't they just sign Flacco once again?
They did, yeah. They did.
So in that experiment, that was great. Even though we smoked them in the playoffs the other time, but you know, I think Massage Man's time, like, it's just gonna start going downhill from there. It's like, I don't think he's gonna be up there that much longer. He's either gonna start being a quarterback, like a backup quarterback guy, or just
locker room guy.
Yeah, hopefully not locker room, like where near the showers. Hopefully not that. But you know, it's just, I think his time's gonna start deteriorating away. But
yeah. And
then picking up Joe Flacco.
The thing about Cleveland is like, yeah, they need a quarterback. The quarterback who must not be named his career is pretty much done.
Yeah.
But I think Cleveland, like, if they look at it, they could still get a guy in like the second or third round if they really wanted to.
Yeah,
And
have
so
them.
That's why I want Travis Hunter. In my opinion, like I said before, I think he's going to be a star on both sides of the ball. Like to me, he's a can't miss prospect. So I went Cleveland going Travis Hunter.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's see what you got for 3.
So 3, the New York Giants will draft Abdul Carter.
3
Pass
for 3
rusher,
right there. Yeah, 3
Penn
for 3
State.
right there. Even though, like, maybe okay. Let me retract my previous statement about after 1 is gonna go like go crazy. Maybe after 2, maybe like let's say Cleveland does get Hunter. They get their wide receiver / cornerback that they want. But I think from there, I think that's wherever everything starts going apart. Now, if it goes 3 for 3, okay, that's great. Like, it's a cakewalk so far. But after that, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like maybe after 3, we don't know what's going to happen. So with that, the Patriots at number 4 are going to pick offensive lineman Will Campbell from LSU.
Yeah, so far you're matching up with Bleacher Report, so y'all got great minds right there, man. Well, these are mock drafts, so
These are mock drafts.
These are mock drafts, so take this with a grain of salt. Like, so far the critics on the higher ups that they have the big websites and stuff like that, they have the same list that we have. So right now we're going, if this was a perfect world, so far so good.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's say that. So far so good in a perfect world. But we're not. So I doubt this is gonna stay like this. I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean we'll just have to see. And then at number 5, the Jaguars I talked about earlier, Mason Graham, defensive end from Michigan. And what you just said, I think maybe after 10, that's when we're gonna see like people rising, people falling, people trying to make trades. That's when all the craziness is gonna happen.
So you think 1 through 5 is locked?
I think 1 through 5 is locked.
1 through 5 is locked, and I think it's 1 through 3. So, which is like, when is the draft? Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. You got 5, I got 3. But what about first 10? Do you think first 10 is still a lock, or that's wherever
I think
some flip flop is gonna happen?
I'll say this. I'll say first 10, 80%. I think whatever you guys are seeing in the mock drafts, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. But it's funny because every year we have these mock drafts early into the off season, and like when I go and look back at those mock drafts, a lot of people that were falling to like 20, they're at top 10.
Yeah. And
some of the people that were top 10, people have them falling. So
yeah, wasn't it Levis one of them? One of those people?
Because
in my opinion, that wasn't a good quarterback.
Because I remember when the quarterbacks were coming out, we had Stroud, Bryce Young, and Levis, right? Mm-hmm. And like one of the early mock drafts had the Texans picking Will Levis, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
No, there's no way. But it's just like some people don't know ball like that well. Yeah. I'm like I am a casual. That's why I'm looking through the. I don't have my own mock draft.
Yeah, the funny thing about the mock draft season is, at a certain point, like how I just said my top 5.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta get clicks, and sometimes you gotta say crazy outlandish shit.
Yeah. But hey, man, like maybe you are right. Maybe the first 5 are like definite lock. But going back to like the 80% thing, I think that's fair though. 80% of like, let's say, because Bleacher Report has 6 as Sanders with the Saints.
Interesting.
So maybe from there, like that's like, let's say Saints really really like Carr. Speaking of Carr, he has his own. He started a YouTube page. He does car reviews.
Does he? I didn't know that.
I saw it yesterday. It was like like old car, does car reviews, and I'm like,
That's hilarious.
I'm like, that's perfect. Like, like if let's say he would retire, like, and he does, like, he's a car salesman, and he starts his own shop, like cars, auto sales,
that would be perfect.
sells cars. I'm like, oh, okay.
That would be
Like,
perfect.
I'm gonna go and like try to get a car there. But let's say they do stick with car, and like they don't bring him in as a backup. Like you said, Daddy Sanders wants his son to be starting. So like that's where the whole implication of like my first three is switched, because what if Giants Giants pick what? They pick third.
Yeah.
What if they actually really want Sanders? That's the thing. And then let's say now, like going back to what I said, they pull a Texans playbook and have the two veterans there, so you get different generation. Oh, well, I don't think Winston's that old, but like you get different perspective of how to be a quarterback in the league, and that's where I think the first three. Actually, first two are log, and then the third one, which is the Giants, that's gonna be the toss up, where like if they don't pick Sanders, everything else is a bust, and if they do, 1 through 5 is a lock.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and say it on this podcast, man. I think Shedeur Sanders is the wild card of this draft.
Yeah,
we're talking about it because if the Giants pick him, then. If I'm some of the other teams, like if I'm the Steelers, I'm like, damn, that was our guy. We're hoping he would fall. And then now they switch their strategy to maybe take whoever is the best player available at 21. But if he makes it past the Giants, if he makes it to like 14, 15, 16, if I'm the Steelers, I'm like, do I really want to wait for him to drop to us? Or do I want to trade up? But then on the other hand, a lot of these teams in the 10s, from like 10 to 20, they already have their answer at quarterback.
You're right.
And so if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to risk it and I'll be patient.
I feel like if I'm Mike Tomlin and I want my quarterback, because who does the Steelers have right now?
They had Russell Wilson. I think they have Justin Fields still.
Do you really trust Justin Fields that much to be your quarterback?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's a young quarterback that's really talented, but if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm pretty much the Dallas Cowboys of like the last 25 years where, I make the playoffs, but we can't win a damn playoff game.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
And I think the way the Steelers are built, like, they pretty much have like a good supporting cast with defense, running games. The receivers are pretty good. By the way, they got DK Metcalf, so right. they have their star receivers.
Yeah,
and I think the only thing they're missing is a quarterback. And so do I really trust Justin Fields to take me to the second round or the AFC Championship, or do I want to go ahead and take that swing and draft Shedeur Sanders, my future face of the franchise?
I think whenever you get the Sanders name in your team, it's already a franchise. Like, you could, let's say I get another like running back, and let's say it is another Sanders, or like give like another like big time name. It's already a franchise like person in your team, because you're already carrying the second generation of that person. So I mean, dude, I'm saying this draft's gonna be crazy, because if I was the Steelers, I'll take the bullet. I'll take the bullet, and like if it fails, so be it. Like, lose my job or whatever. Like, I'll go all the way up and try to see what I can do to get Hunter to be my quarterback. Because I do not. If Fields didn't last at all in Chicago, and you got like Williams in the back, people are calling for Da Bears' head because they're not starting Williams over Fields. Then you're gonna have another situation like that in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and like, if I'm Mike Tomlin, like, dude, like, I'm one of the most accomplished coaches in the NFL.
Right, yeah.
So it's like I don't have really anything to lose. Like, if they were gonna fire me, they would have fucking fired me already. You know. So it's like, why not? Like, if he's there, just take him.
Yeah.
And then best case scenario, like, he turns out to be really good. And, you know, I think with Shedeur Sanders, I'm gonna give you my take on Shedeur Sanders one last time, and then we can get out of here. But with Shedeur Sanders, he reminds me of what Teddy Bridgewater was before that nasty leg injury that he suffered. He's pretty accurate. Like, yeah, he's got a personality on him, and he's got that swag, that personality.
Yeah.
Some people might call him a diva, but I think he's still going to be a really good quarterback. But the thing with him is, I think he has to go to the right situation.
Yeah.
I mean, what better guy to coach him up than Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches in NFL history. He's got Super Bowl championships.
Right.
He coached Ben Roethlisberger. And what better situation is that?
And then you already have one crash out in your team. Might as well just take another. Like, dude. And then while we're in the topic of Sanders and Hunter, what is your take on the retirement of their jerseys?
Oh my God, man. Guys, I'm about to go on a crazy rant right now. Like, University of Colorado, what are we doing? Why are we retiring Shedeur Sanders' number? Like, Travis Hunter, I get, but the thing with college, the beauty of college football to me is that one guy can wear like the number, and then when the next guy comes in, like, he can also wear that number, and it's like a tradition thing to me.
Exactly.
And like, I'm gonna say this: one of the greatest college quarterbacks I watched in my lifetime, Tim Tebow. Florida hasn't retired his fucking number, so like, why are we retiring Shedeur Sanders'
That's the
number?
main thing we were talking about in the chat. Like, hey, like, why are we doing this? Like, no, not we, they. Why are they doing this? Like, there's no need to do that. Like, if it, like, he was there for what, 2 years, and then like, well, Colorado's record wasn't even that good. They went to like 2 bowl games.
They were like 4-8 his first year there.
Exactly. They don't, just because it's Sanders, like, you want to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely a Daddy Dion pulling the strings.
Like Alex Rodriguez. Every time I wore a Rodriguez like name on the back, like, retire my jersey or something like that. Like, because I have the name. Because it's basically the same thing that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, man, I just don't get it. Like, the whole when that came out on Twitter, I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Makes no sense at all. But
Yeah.
like you said, Daddy Sanders right there, man.
Yeah,
That's a daddy magic.
Daddy Dion pulling the strings, and you know what? Whatever team he goes to, probably going to be the same thing. But you know, next Thursday draft, can't wait. It's gonna be a fun draft to watch in the first round.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big City Wings, man, one of our sponsors. If you guys
Shout out to them.
If you guys want wings, great wing spot. Paulo's Wing Joint, Houston's Wing Joint. Shout out Zing Zang if you guys like margarita mix.
Oh yeah, one of the bomb.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.
Peace.